Well, going back to 1972, I was hanging out in my room in Deer Park, Long Island, and I just got my license, and I was thinking, I wish I knew somebody that had a nice car for a great price. Well, I wish I was smart enough to get a really good job. Anyway, my mother called out to me and she said, "Hey, Frankie, hey, get ready. Grandpa wants to pick you up." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay, cool." So, my grandfather pulled up in one of his limousines because he had a well-known limousine service. I did a video on it not too long ago. He actually drove the Beatles in Forest Hills, Queens, before they did their Shea Stadium tour there. Anyway, we started driving to Richmond Hill, Queens. That's where he lived. It's about a 45-minute ride. So when we got there, right next door to my grandfather's house was a Sinclair gas station that had that dinosaur, the big brontosaurus on the roof. And I always wanted that. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I look back now and I say to myself, it was all a lie. No such thing as dinosaurs, and I thank the Lord for revealing me that. And it's a shame. My father and my grandfather lived their lives in that dark place that these Freemasons put us in. Well, anyway, we pulled up in the driveway, and it was a long driveway. And at the end of the driveway, he had like 6-car garage, which was really cool. So, as he stopped the car, he turned to looked at me and said, "Here you go, Frankie." And he handed me these keys, and I said, "What's this?" He goes, "I bought you a car." I was like, "No way." So I got out of the car, and up toward the driveway was a Ford, 1962 Ford Falcon 2-door, white, in really, really nice shape. And I ran up to it, and I was looking through it, and it was really, really in real good shape, and I was so thankful to my grandfather. So then he goes, "Hey, Frankie, let's go. Let's put plates on it." And I was like, "Really, Grandpa?" He goes, "Yeah." So we got in the car, and we drove to the motor vehicle, and we got there. I never forget it because there was a line out the door and around the building. I couldn't believe it. So I told my grandpa, I said, "Grandpa, I don't think we're going to get plates today." And he said, "Oh, let's say a prayer. Let's go in and see what we can do." So we went in there, and my grandfather went up to this guy that worked there, and he started talking to him. And then my grandpa said to me, "Hey, Frankie, hold on a few minutes. I'll be right back." And I said, "Okay." So he went like in the back room, and as I was waiting for him, I could see all the people with the frustration. You could tell they were annoyed and mad because they were waiting on this long, long line. And I really didn't look right at them, but I could almost sense it. So I waited for a while, and then the next thing I know, the woman behind the counter is calling my name. So I hear her say, "Frank, is there Frankie?" And then I walked up to her. I said, "My name is Frank." And she said to me, "Here you go. Here's your plates for your new car. Enjoy it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And as I turned, my grandfather came out of the back door, and I started talking to him because I was so excited. And he goes, "Not now, Frankie. Wait till we get in the car." So we started walking to the car because it was a few blocks. And as we were walking, I was thinking, well, it doesn't surprise me because my grandfather's pretty well known. I remember him telling me stories. One time, he was on the Belt Parkway, and one of his tires, one of the rims came off, like the hubcap to his limo, and he pulled over and he went to get it, and apparently a cop was behind him and gave him a ticket. And my grandfather was pretty annoyed. He goes, "Why are you giving me a ticket for?" And the cop said, "Well, you're not supposed to stop here." And he goes, "Well, there's really no traffic. He goes, "Well, I'm not going to pay this ticket." Then the cop said, "Okay, I guess I'll see you in court." And my grandfather said, "Okay." And it was pretty funny because when his court date arrived, when he went into the court building, he knew the judge, so the ticket was dismissed. And even the cop said he even gave an apology to my grandfather. So anyway, we got into the car and we were driving, and I said to Grandpa, how'd you get the plates? He goes, Frankie, in this world, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you're going to see when you go through life that this is a true saying. And even if you don't know something, or if you don't know anybody, always pray to the Lord, because he'll always be there for you. And you won't realize it as time goes on. And when you think back, you'll say, wow, when I was down and out, the Lord was always there for me. So then years later, I don't know how many years went by, but for the first time, I read that poem, Footprints in the Sand. And when I first read it, I thought about my grandpa. And every time I read that poem, or if I see it anywhere, I always think of him, because also when we were in the car, he was telling me, Frankie, you're lucky. I said, Grandpa, how's that? Because I got the plates for the car? And he started laughing. He goes, nah, not material things. I said, what are you saying? He goes, I was born 50 years too soon. And I said, well, what? He goes, I was born 50 years too soon. He goes, you're going to be the lucky one. Because you're going to see, as you get my age, if God spares you, live as long as I am. He goes, you're going to see our Lord's return. And that really blew me away. And now that I'm older, I'm 62, and now I realize the Lord is at the door.